Good evening, this is Primetime News and I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
I'm Zeenat Musafa. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Jaffna International Airport declared open. Direct flights between Chennai and Jaffna. Chairman of Avantgarde, Nisanka Senadipati, remanded until the 8th of November. Sajitha Premadasa pledges to provide fertilizer free of charge. Gotabaya Rajapaksa says he will put an end to corruption of the current regime. Biman Ratnayaka reveals about a proposal from Basil Rajapaksa to the JVP.
Adding a new chapter to the civil aviation sector in Sri Lanka, the Jaffna International Airport was declared open today.
The Jaffna International Airport, which was declared open as the third international airport of Sri Lanka, was constructed at a cost of 2.25 billion rupees. 300 million rupees of the total investment was financed through funds received from the Indian government. As part of the first phase of the project, the first 950 meters of the main runway used for aircraft operations has been renovated. The first plane from Chennai reached the Jaffna International Airport at 10:15 this morning. The aircraft that belongs to Air India Alliance landed at the airport along with a group of Indian nationals.
They spoke about this airport even before the war. However, the matter was only limited to speech and no action was taken. The cabinet paper for the airport was presented in May. However, even before 6 months passed, we were able to declare open this airport as an international airport. Development in Jaffna was initiated in 2015. After Maithripala Sirisena took over as president, we first took steps to release lands. This was the first step towards development. Within the next 5 years, I have confidence that Jaffna will regain its status as an economic centre. Minister Arjuna Ranatunga has now earned 2 world records. One is the 1996 World Cup title. The other is the opening of an airport in such a short period.
All our projects have touched the lives of people in Sri Lanka. Today's flight is yet another example of our commitment to continue our people-oriented development partnership with Sri Lanka. In the northern province in particular, we have completed several people-centric projects, all under grants in various fields. We are currently setting up an IT center in Jaffna. The iconic Jaffna Cultural Center is close to completion. We are also upgrading KKS Harbour, after which it could be fully used as a commercial port. I am confident that the start of international flights between Chennai and Jaffna will increase tourist inflows in both directions. It will provide a big boost to our economies.
Initially, we decided to upgrade this airport in 3 phases. As the first phase, we decided to create a system that will only facilitate the landing of aircraft that can accommodate 70 to 80 passengers. We didn't want to spend too much as we were concerned on the return of investment. For the first time in the history of our country, the civil aviation policy was approved by the cabinet. Through this policy, we have taken steps to develop the Jaffna Airport, the Batticaloa Airport in the Eastern Province, the Karunayak International Airport and the Mattala Airport.
During the event, public representatives expressed their views regarding the benefits of the airport to the general public.
This is one of the attempts made to develop this district. This airport will no doubt be an eye-opener to the international community. This is the basis to transform this country into a developed nation. For 70 years, the people of this country did not receive any solutions for their problems. Similar to the prompt steps taken to open this airport and connect this region with the international community, we request that steps will be taken to provide political solutions to the people of this region as well.
Domestic flights at the Jaffna International Airport are due to commence from November this year.
This was a response of the opposition faction on the Palala International Airport.
Today, the Palali International Airport was declared open. We asked one of the officials there as to how this airport was constructed so quickly. They had used the Road Development Authority to carpet the runway. It has not been constructed to international standards. All of the ground handling operations have been handed over to an Indian company. We know who is behind all of this. They hope to declare open this airport before the elections.
මැතිවරණයට ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඒගොල්ලන් බලාපොරොත්තු වුණා මෙම ගුවන් තොටුපළ විවෘත කරන්න. තවමත් මේ රටේ තව ඉතුරු වෙලා නැහැ. තනකොළ කන ජනතාව අපේ රටේ ඉතුරු වෙලා නැහැ කියන එක අපි කියන්න ඕනේ මිත්‍රවරුනි.
Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajith Premadasa, continued on his campaign trail today.
Sajith Premadasa began his campaign for the day in the Anuradhapura district. The final rally of the day is currently underway at the Mihindupura grounds. Another rally in support of Sajith Premadasa was held in Kakirava today. I would like to tell you that we will record a resounding victory across the country. During the first 6 months in office, I will provide solutions to the human-elephant conflict in the region through constructing elephant fences and other modern solutions, and also provide a compensation package to all those who suffer damages to their crops. My opponent, who recently held a rally in Anuradhapura, had asked his elder brother and made a promise to provide fertilizer for free. He always asks his brother before he says something. When he talks about extremism and reconciliation, he turns left and right and continues to do this. He has no answers. When he said that fertilizer will be provided for free, they forgot the people who grow out the crop. When they said they will provide fertilizer for free, they forgot the vegetable farmers. They forgot the people who cultivate fruits. I would like to tell you, listen carefully to Sajith Premadasa's agricultural program. I promise you that paddy farmers will be given a stable price of 50 rupees for their produce. Fertilizer will not only be provided to one set of farmers, instead our government will provide free fertilizer to paddy farmers, vegetable farmers and fruit farmers alike. Some might ask, can we actually do all that is promised? Ranasinghe Premadasa opened garment factories in the country, initiated the Janasavya program, gave uniforms and provided lunch. All of this while holding a torch that burns from both ends in his hand. I would like to tell you that the son of Premadasa, who did all of this, can do even more.
නිලැඳුම දුන්නා දිවාහාරය දුන්නා ඒව කරපු ප්‍රේමදාසගේ පුතාට ඒකටත් වැඩිය කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා මේ අවස්ථාවේ මම කියන්න කැමතියි.
Before addressing the rally in Anuradhapura this morning, Sajith Premadasa paid homage to the Jai Shri Mahabodhiya. He met with Atamasthanaadhipati Venerable Pallegama Sirinivasa Thera and obtained his blessings. Sajith Premadasa then paid homage to the Ruan Valley Mahasaya. Sajith Premadasa also obtained blessings from the Mahasangha when he visited the Sri Sarananda Mahapirivena in Anuradhapura. Sajid Premadasa also met with Venerable Sri Sumangala Thera, the Viharadipati of the Isuru Raja Mahaviharasthanaya. After receiving blessings from the Viharadipati of the Mihintale Raja Mahaviharaya, he paid homage to the sacred site. Mihindu Maharatan Thera called out to King Tissa saying, "Tissa, Tissa." He solved all of the problems posed and said, "Tissa, you are not the owner of this country. You are only the leader and the custodian." He said that the duty to protect all of these animals rests with you. Mihindu Maharatan Thera pointed out that he must protect everyone. Now you have come forward as a candidate and hope of becoming the president of the country. So your duty as per the teachings of Mihindu Maharatan Thera is to protect all animals, the flowers, trees, rivers and reservoirs and all of these things. As a leader, you have a duty to protect not only all human beings but also the animals as well.
The election campaign of presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, was held in the Kegol district today.
The rally held at the Ashoka grounds in Rambukana was organised by former Chief Minister Mahipala Herath.
The economic plan presented today to move forward is a continuation of the development plan that was halted then. We have come forward seeking power with a team that can implement this. All governments that came into power were accused of corruption charges. You know that it was this government that was accused of the highest level of corruption. Those were large-scale corrupt activities. Projects have not been implemented. We will bring this to an end. No matter on what level, be it on the political level or on the level of the officers, we will end this. We will use technology to eradicate corruption. Countries with highest levels of corruption have done this. When we use an easy method to obtain permits and licenses, we will be able to reduce corruption. We have to eradicate corruption on all levels. I ask you to have faith in me. You know that I fulfilled whatever the responsibilities I was vested with 100%. I served in the military for 20 years. I was serving in North and the East too. Presidents of the United National Party at the time praised me and recognized my service. I was also able to make Colombo the rapidly developing city in Asia when I was serving as a secretary to the Ministry of Urban Development. I like to accept challenges. I am someone who can accept challenges and work to accomplish them.
Opposition leader of the Kegol Pradesh Sabha, Upali Disanayaka, attended the rally to support Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Meanwhile, presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa met with the political representatives of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party in Karundupana this afternoon. MP Ranjit Sebalapitiya, Dushmantha Mitrapala and several other representatives of the SLFP attended the event.
One day I asked my father why the SLFP was established. When Bandaranayake switched from the United National Party to the other side, he didn't know that D.A. Rajapaksa will join him. The privileges we are now enjoying are because of the principles of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. When Maithripala Sirisena joined the UNP, I knew that he will not last long there. I don't see an alternative other than joining forces with them. The fact that people are disappointed in politicians is true. because people don't like the prevailing culture. We have to come forward to serve the country based on our policies, because if we don't do that, the people will be left with no alternatives. I thank the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and its leadership for extending their support to me. I promise you that we will work together as brothers and sisters in the future government. We have not just joined hands for this election. I have presented a policy framework that you can support without an issue. On Saturday, we will sign another agreement with the victorious future president. We will also sign an agreement as an alliance. All SLFPers are ready to take you towards victory.
Sri Lanka nidahat paksiko
Meanwhile, in other local news, Avant-Garde Chairman Major Nishanka Senadipati has been remanded until the 8th of November.
Nissanka Senadipati, who was arrested yesterday, was produced before the Permanent High Court trial at bar today by the Criminal Investigations Department. Senadipati, who visited Singapore for treatment, was arrested around 11:30 p.m. yesterday at the Bandaranaike International Airport. The charges have been filed against him and 12 others by the Attorney General at the Permanent High Court trial at bar. 7,573 charges have been filed against them for the possession of over 816 automatic weapons, 2,395 rounds of live ammunition without any of the necessary permissions in a vessel named MV Avant-Garde under Avant-Garde Maritime Services. Nissanka Senadipati had received in-house treatment at the Mount Elizabeth Hospital in Singapore for more than 3.5 months. After he was arrested and produced in court today, his counsel requested court to grant him bail as he has to go through another surgery on the 21st of this month. The counsel representing the accused also pointed out that he has been advised to rest for a period of 12 weeks after the surgery. Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piris, representing the Attorney General, pointed out that Nissanka Senadipati had left the country with another suspect on the 4th of July 2019 when the Supreme Court was due to make an order. The bench, who considered the facts presented, ordered for Nissanka Senadipati to be remanded until the 8th of next month.
We're going in for a short commercial break. Stay tuned for more.
UNP SLPP lock horns in Palmadulla.
Welcome back to the news. Parliamentarian Vidura Vikramanayake made a request yesterday addressing a meeting organised in support of Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
We would like to invite our new President and new Prime Minister after their victory to come to Horona. But on that day, there will be more people than this, right? People come when you are in power. I see the people who are moving around, both of them. After the 8th of January and on the 9th, these people left Mahinda Rajapaksa. Now they've begun to come back to him. I would like to point out to these two that are in our district, we have this sort of useless politicians. There are quite a few of them. Please do not get close to them. Instead, create a good team with good politics, a team that can work for the country and give that strength to the people.
While MP Vidura Vikramanayake made this statement, a group launched a satyagraha in Mathugama town demanding for Kaluthara district Kumara Welgama to support the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna.
The group that gathered at the Mathugama town this morning launched their satyagraha after engaging in religious observances. Clergy, local government members and area residents gathered in the town.
With the Lion of Kalugantota becoming silent, this has become disadvantageous to the government that is to be formed, because the group of Kumara Welgama have been floating votes. Kumara Welgama is a person who treats Mahinda Rajapaksa from the bottom of his heart. Therefore, we will not allow Kumara Welgama to take this decision.
කෙනෙක් තමයි කුමාර වෙල්ගම මැතිතුමා. ඒ නිසා අපි කුමාර වෙල්ගම මැතිතුමාට ඕන තීරණය ගන්න අපි දෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Former Western Provincial Local Government Councillor Senal Velgama, son of Kumar Velgama, came to meet those staging the Satyagraha. The group staging the Satyagraha refused to call off their action until Kumar Velgama agreed with their demands. The Jatika Samvidhana Sammelana announced yesterday that a group that can enact SRPP presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa's program should be elected to Parliament. The National Organisations Collective had this to say regarding the statement.
Any president has the right to select his team to appoint secretaries, ministers and committees to obtain advice. I don't think there is anything wrong with that. I have not seen him say that he will only work with a certain group of people. Venerable L. Gunawardena Thero had earlier announced that he would only extend his support to a presidential candidate who would reach an agreement opposite the temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. The Thero says, however, that a group had disrupted this process. Do not let this nation to be robbed. None of the parties will do what we want. They fear the candidate based on the wants of the party. What is the main qualification? The availability of money. I announced that a vow should be made before the temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. I had 5 requests. That was disrupted. I will tell you who disrupted this on a future date.
JVP parliamentarian Bimal Ratnayaka expressed his views about the percentage of floating votes and the new voters at the election. He expressed these views in Kandy yesterday.
To win an election, we need money. You need a large voter base, a government mechanism and a personal image. If we compare Mahinda Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena, Maithripala Sirisena didn't have any of them, but he won the election. There are only 42 block votes to be seen. Their SLFPs did not vote for him at all. But if we add 100,000 votes, that will become 430,000. Then how did he get 620,000 votes? He got it from the floating voters. They are the true treasure of the election. We are working while placing our belief in those people. Both the candidates from the UNP and the Porto themselves accept the fact that they cannot get the required 50% of votes without these floating votes. The Prime Minister said that Sajith Premadasa cannot win with only the votes of the UNP supporters. I will tell you a small secret now. A few months back, Basil Rajapaksa spoke with the leader of our party and said that they have a maximum of 44% of the vote and asked if they can get the second vote of the JVP. We told him that the JVP voters do not even give us a preferential vote. They only vote for the symbol, so we told them that this cannot happen. So they know that it is hard to get the required 50% of the vote. Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam convened a media briefing today.
Discussions with the TNA are currently taking place. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is looking into this matter. Even today, our leader Ranil Wickremesinghe looked into the matter. Today, we declared open the first international airport in the north. We have worked hard to develop the north. Therefore, we are confident that we will obtain the votes from the Tamil and Muslim communities of the north and east. We strongly believe that we will receive the support of the TNA. The TNA will reveal this in the future. Discussions with the TNA are still ongoing. They have put forward various recommendations. We have protected their rights and therefore I am confident of winning their votes. We will obtain the votes from the north, east, south and west and we will win with a majority.
Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa is on the campaign trail in the northern province.
Speaking at an event held at the campaign office of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna in Bulletin, MP Namal Rajapaksa expressed his views.
Whenever you ask for a job, a road, a school or if you request for a factory to be built, Sambandhan always asks you to wait until the next Diwali celebration for a political solution. But that Diwali celebration never dawns to Sambandhan. The Chief Minister here, C.V. Vigneshwaran, says that the Tamil people must stand for the Tamil people. But he says that he does not trust Tamil people to provide his security.
දෙමළ ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් දෙමළ ජනතාවම ඉන්න ඕන කියලා කියනවා. හැබැයි යාගේ ආරක්ෂාවට යාට දෙමළයි විශ්වාස නැහැ.
A group of local government members representing the National People's Party convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
Discipline and democracy are at their lowest in smaller political parties. At this point, Mahesh Senanayake has been fielded as the presidential candidate of the National People's Party. However, to date, leaders of the party have not convened a meeting to inform us in this regard. There are 10 Pradesh Sabha members in this party. Even they were not informed of such a decision. There is more discipline in a private company. Disregarding the executive committee and electorate organizers, 3 or 4 individuals are trying to achieve their personal objectives. In our view, this is a huge conspiracy. This is a disaster to our country. There are the decisions taken by a group who benefit from foreign embassies and not the decisions of party members.
The launch of the environmental policy of the National People's Power Movement was held in Udawalawe today. The environmental policy of the party was launched under the theme Ratatama Sobamat Karanapekshawa. Presidential candidate of the National People's Power Movement presented the policy document at the event attended by the Mahasangha, environmentalists, artists and politicians. The equipment and the tractor used to kidnap elephants from the Udawalawe National Park were captured. They had the tractor in their possession and the items were produced in court. But the equipment used to capture the elephants were not to be found. The elephants' record book at the Ministry of Wildlife was misplaced. Elephants were held illegally at some temples, in Devalas and even some judges. This transformed into a massive elephant smuggling operation. Also, some of our important national resources like the Singharaja forest, the Vilpattu forest and the surrounding areas were put at risk. We are suffering the consequences of destroying the environment, and they are worse than the consequences we had to face after the war. In any area, the sand mines are owned by politicians. The mines are owned by politicians. If a forest is being destroyed, there is a politician behind it. If a marshland or farmland is being filled up in a village, there is a politician behind that. If an illegal quarry is operated anywhere in the country, there will be a politician behind that. So what has happened now? These leaders cannot inculcate positive thoughts on nature among the people. So we must review all these facts, appoint a commission and within 1 year amend all the environmental laws in the country. Presidential candidate of the Janasatha Peramuna, Battaramulle C. Ratanathero, expressed the following views addressing a meeting held in Dompegamba today. All the political parties are still only slinging mud at each other. None of them have presented a stable policy on how to develop the country. They fill their bank accounts as much as possible. Is it only now that you remember these issues faced by the poor people of this country, the hardships they face to purchase some medicine, the employment issues, educational issues, and the issues of the youth? Why do you see these only now? What were you doing inside all of these years? What were you doing in Parliament for all these years? The people were only given the leftovers. Will you vote for these politicians or will you vote for the Janasatha Peramuna who are speaking straight about their policies? You must make that decision.
UMP Puttalam District Parliamentarian Shanta Sisira Kumara was further remanded after being produced before the Chilaw Magistrates Court today.
Parliamentarian Shanta Sisira Kumara is the third suspect in an ongoing case at the Chilaw High Court. The MP is suspected to have been part of an illegal assembly in 2004 and also had live ammunition and firearms in their possession. On the 31st of March 2011, he was granted bail and was ordered to appear before the Chilao police between 9 a.m. and 12 noon on the last Sunday of every month as part of his bail conditions. The parliamentarian was placed under remand custody today after the Chilao police reported to court that the suspect had failed to comply with his bail conditions. Attorney at law Nihal Sumanadira, who appeared on behalf of Shanta Sisira Kumara, said that the MP was unable to fulfill his bail condition as he had travelled overseas. He pointed out that permission of court was sought on a number of occasions to travel overseas. The High Court judge ordered the Chilao Police and the Department of Immigration and Immigration to submit a report on the matter.
The former chairman of the Palmadulla Pradesh Sabha has been arrested over an incident where a group of people who attended a SLPP meeting in Palmadulla in Ratnapura were assaulted.
The group of people had been allegedly assaulted on the way back from the rally that was held at the Palmadulla PS grounds. 2 people who were assaulted have been admitted to the Palmadulla Divisional Hospital and the Kahawatha Base Hospital. A large group of thugs had arrived and assaulted people who were in buses, including women. People were hospitalized. One person's hearing is impaired. Another person is in the Palmadulla hospital. The UNP is turning to thuggery to suppress this victory.
A group who arrived in buses who were under the influence had created a problem. They had commenced an altercation with the people in the town there. The police had taken steps to arrest those who were involved. We can see that there are some trying to use this incident and gain political mileage.
The
former chairman of the Palmadulla PSLP Jayantha has been arrested over this incident. He has been produced before the Palmadulla magistrate today and was remanded till the 28th of this month.
Meanwhile, an unidentified group has damaged the name boards of several model villages in Suryavava Hambantota.
The following footage shows how the name boards placed at the entrance of 5 model villages constructed in the Suryavava Divisional Secretariat were damaged. Residents claim a group of unidentified individuals had damaged them last night. Officials of the Housing Development Authority office in Hambantota have lodged a complaint with the police in this regard.
Social media influencer Ashane Senaratne lodged a complaint at the police headquarters today.
In his complaint, he stated that a political group had threatened him on social media over a recent statement made by him. If political slaves threaten us, if they warn us not to come out onto the street if we value our lives, we can only seek redress from the law. There was a time in this country where journalists who spoke the truth in this country were murdered. There was a time where media institutions that spoke the truth were burnt down. I came here before the law because we are frustrated and we wonder if we are heading towards such a time again. Posts like, "You will be the next man to go in a white van" were circulating on social media. Finance Minister Mangala Samaravira expressed these views on the finance policy put forward by presidential candidate of the SLPP Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He expressed these views at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
If Gotabaya Rajapaksa wins, he says that the value-added tax or VAT will be reduced to 8%. All agricultural taxes will be removed. Telecommunication taxes will be removed. It also states that the value of the rupee will be brought back to 150 rupees. We are saddened by the fact that he is making such dangerous statements. If these proposals are implemented like this, not only will the entire country go bankrupt, but the entire country will become another Venezuela or another Greece. If VAT that is currently at 15% is reduced to 8% on average, the country will lose 350 billion rupees every year. In 2006, Mahinda Rajapaksa imposed a tax of 20% on essential food items such as potatoes, onions, sprats and dal. After that, in the run-up to the presidential election in 2014, he reduced this tax from 20% to 11% as an election handout. In 2016, the VAT was set at 15%, but even today we have not imposed VAT on essential food items. We do not impose VAT on items such as potatoes, onions, sprats and dal.
Convening a media briefing in Colombo today, MP Anura Priyadarshini spoke about the current economic situation of the country. The MP also commented about a recent statement made by non-cabinet minister of economic reforms and public distribution, Dr. Harsha De Silva.
Now in many places, the Prime Minister, Mr. Harsha De Silva, Mangala Samaraveera, the Minister, all have said that they have ran the country well and economically we are very sound. Latest indicators from the Asian Development Bank says that our projected per capita growth in the country will be around 2.6. Central Bank has also agreed that second quarter of this year the growth was only 1.6. And Harsha De Silva, Deputy Minister, recently said that we are now a developed country. He gave certain indications, like the ladies are wearing high heels and they are using, makeups, lipsticks, and it was not a new thing. That has been there for so many years now. Even in the 60s, we have passion parades and we have well-dressed women. So I don't think he could have come out with that type of argument.
However, apologizing on Twitter today, Minister Dr. Harsha De Silva said that the example on women's fashion could have been avoided. The minister said, quote, "I took examples, rent, mobiles, etc. I was factual, but perhaps the women's fashion example could have been avoided. Apologies to anyone offended," unquote.
A recent report published by the Auditor General's Department reveals that as at the end of December 2017, the State Printing Corporation had an unclaimed debtor balance of 147 million rupees.
Since its establishment in 1968, the State Printing Corporation was successful in generating profits throughout the years. However, by 2017, the state institution had gradually declined to a loss-making position. The recent report issued by the Auditor General's Department recognizes the increase in salary expenses and short-term loan interest as the main factors aggravating the state institution's declining financial performance. The increase in employees' cost at the state institution was a result of the 2015 budget proposal, which required the increase of salaries for the staff of 715 employees. Furthermore, when implementing the said budget proposal, it had been estimated that 140 million rupees, 161 million rupees and 185 million rupees would be incurred by the corporation additionally for the payment of salaries in the years 2018, 2019 and 2020 respectively. The Auditor General also points out that as at the 31st of December 2017, there were staff in excess of the approved cadre level at the primary level in the institution.
As at the end of 31st December 2017, this institution had bank loans amounting to 495 million rupees. As of 2017, this short-term loan portfolio had increased by more than 51% to 746 million rupees. The interest that had to be incurred as a result of this loan portfolio had also increased by 42% over the 3-year period to 89 million rupees.
It was further observed that the liquidity position and the return on capital employed of the corporation remained deteriorating, thus creating an uncertainty on the going concern of the institution.
The Auditor General in his report also points out that as at the end of December 2017, there was a debtor balance of 527 million rupees at the state institution. Now, 28% of this 527 million rupees was resulting from transactions that took place between 2009 and 2013. Now, what's interesting is that this 28% of the 527 million rupees, which amounts to 147 million rupees, cannot be claimed due to various reasons. The Auditor General points out that 3 of the main reasons as to why this amount cannot be claimed is because during 2013 as well as the years before that, the state corporation had failed to prepare proper invoices to their credit customers. They had failed to establish agreements with their credit customers, and the death of certain debtors.
The Auditor General also reports that action had not been taken either to recover or write off debtor balance of 147 million rupees. This 147 million rupees of irrecoverable debt still exists in the institution's accounting books and has been so for more than 5 years.
The price of big onions have become a topic of discussions on the political stage in the lead-up to the presidential election.
Tharage, representing the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, presented a parcel of big onions to the leader of the opposition, W. Renuka. This is how supporters of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna brought big onions to a rally that was organised in Rambukkana today. Mahinda Rajapaksa spoke about the price of big onions yesterday.
There is no point in talking about this government today. You know that big onions are very cheap today. In this history, we have never consumed big onions for 350 to 345 rupees. This is the current situation in the country.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා ඔබතුමාලා දකින්න ඇති අර බොම්බයි ලුණු ගෙඩියක් කරකෝ මෙන්න මේකේ මිල වැඩි කියෝ හිටියා. දැන් බලන්න මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාගේ කාලේ සැමන් ටින් එකක් 240යි 2014. දැන් 195යි. කිරිපිටි 386යි. දැන් 370යි. පරිප්පු 160යි දැන් 110යි. සීනි 115යි දැන් 100යි. ගෑස් එක 2615යි. දැන් රුපියල් 1000කට වඩා අඩුයි 1493යි. පෙට්‍රල් 150යි දැන් 139යි. මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාට අර බොම්බයි ලුණු ගෙඩිය විතරයි මතක් වුණේ ගණන් වැඩි කියන්න. එතුමාට බොම්බයි ලුණු ගෙඩි දෙක කරකෝ එන්නනවා ලබන මාසේ 16 වෙනිදාන් පස්සේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්මයා මේ රටේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා බවට පත් වුණාට පස්සේ.
It's time for another commercial break, but more news right after this.
Syrian army deploys troops towards Kurdish-controlled areas. Locals denied entry to the city.
ආත්ම ශක්තිය කැපවීම උනන්දුව පමණක් උරුම කරගත් ලති අනාගතය අලුතින් ලයන්නට සැරසෙන අපි දෝපුතුන්ගේ වර්ණවත් සන්ධ්‍යාව
අභිමන් වරම්
කුසලතා පරපුරක අභිෂේකය අභිමන් වරම්
ප්‍රධාන අනුග්‍රහය
ඇංක කිරි එදත් අදත් හෙටත් හොඳම දේ පමණයි.
That was your weather forecast for tomorrow. Now continuing in more local news, the much awaited The Big Bad Wolf book sale, Colombo 2019, and the exclusive preview day of the sale took place at the Sri Lanka Exhibition and Convention Centre today.
The book sale will officially be open for the public starting from tomorrow up to the 28th of October 2019. The launch event was graced by the presence of Big Bad Wolf Books founder Jacqueline Ng and Andrew Yap, Big Bad Wolf Books Sri Lanka partner, Deepak Madhavan and director of Pro Read Lanka Private Limited, and Big Bad Wolf Books Sri Lanka partner Nishan Vasalatantri. The Big Bad Wolf book sale Colombo 2019 will open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and operate 24 hours non-stop over the weekends. Entrance to the sale is free.
A press conference was held to raise awareness of the 7th annual TISSL Conference 2019, the largest educational conference hosted annually in the Sri Lanka for the heads of schools.
The distinguished heads of leading international schools in Sri Lanka attended the press conference.
Back in 2000, there were only about 2,500 schools. And if you just see the growth, in 2017, it went up to about 9,000 schools. And the prediction is that by 2027, that there will be about 16,000 international schools in the world, catering to over 10 million children. We wanted our schools not only to offer international education, but we wanted our schools to uphold the values and the culture of our country.
The conference, organized by the International Schools of Sri Lanka or TISSL, will be held from the 22nd of November to the 24th of November 2019 at the Marriott Hotel in Valigama.
It's time for the news from the international arena, and we have David Paldano with the very latest.
Thank you, Sandaru, and welcome to your international roundup for the day. Let's take a look at a recent development that the BBC has reported that allegedly Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan threw a letter from US President Donald Trump into the bin. Now, the letter was dated on the 9th of October and was sent after US troops were pulled out of Syria and contained phrases such as "don't be a fool" and "don't be a tough guy." Now, in that letter, US President Donald Trump further urges Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to not launch a military offensive against Kurdish-led forces in northern Syria. However, Erdogan ignores that request. And as a result of Erdogan ignoring that request, US Vice President Mike Pence is currently in Ankara trying to push for a ceasefire to solve this entire issue. Now, if you take a look at this image as a whole, US is currently under intensive international criticism for withdrawing the troops. Now, critics say that because US pulled the troops out of northern Syria, that it acted as a green light for Turkey to launch their own military offensive in northern Syria. Now, we will bring you the latest as the situation develops, but before that, let's first take a look at more international news that transpired. Violence is escalating in Syria as the Syrian army pushes to take back cities in northern Syria as part of a Syrian army effort to counter Turkish forces in the country.
A day earlier, a deal was reached between the Syrian government and the Kurdish forces under the mediation of Russia to counter Turkey's military progress. Currently, a Russian national flag, a Syrian national flag and a flag of the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces are seen fluttering on the path leading to the city. The Syrian army stated to deploy troops towards Kurdish-controlled areas near the Turkish border after the deal. Manbij has been announced to be Turkey's next target in the current operation in northern Syria.
Now, ahead of the European Union summit, officials have said that the prolonged Brexit could in fact drag down Britain's economy and become a prolonged affair. However, just before the summit, UK and EU negotiators have agreed upon a deal. However, that deal still needs the approval of both the UK Parliament and the European Parliaments.
The summit is scheduled to be held today and tomorrow in Brussels, Belgium. A Brexit deal has been agreed upon between UK and EU negotiating teams before a meeting of European leaders in Brussels. Prime Minister Boris Johnson tweeted, quote, "We've got a great new deal that takes back control," end quote. The two sides have been working on the legal text of the deal, but it will still need the approval of both the UK and European parliaments.
Meanwhile, protesters set cars on fire and threw petrol bombs as police in the city of Barcelona as unrest was sparked by separatist leaders being sentenced as they try to declare an independent state.
Peaceful demonstrations throughout yesterday deteriorated after nightfall into clashes between police and protesters, prompting regional government leader Quim Torra to demand an immediate return to normality. Police said Molotov cocktails, petrol bombs and acid were thrown at officers. In some places, police charged at protesters and fired foam projectiles. Emergency services said 52 people had been treated in the course of the day for injuries sustained in Barcelona and other towns in the region. 4 people were detained without bail yesterday for their roles in skirmishes the previous night.
Climate change activists sparked a confrontation between angry commuters and the protesters by disrupting railway services in London.
British Transport Police said they had responded to incidences at Shadwell, Stratford and Canning Town near London's Canary Wharf financial district. Police said in a statement, quote, "Arrests have been made and officers are working to quickly resume services," end quote. Police in London said they had arrested 1,642 people since the protest started.
Up next is Sports Roundup.
Drazik, and starting off with news here at home. The trials for the 2020 Asian Netball Championships was held in Colombo. Secretary of the Sri Lanka Netball Federation, Champa Gunawardena, said around 35 players will be selected to represent Sri Lanka at the upcoming tournament in Korea under the coaching of Tilaka Janadasa. Last year, Sri Lankan Lasses were victorious by beating hosts Singapore in their own backyard. A powerhouse in Asian netball, Sri Lanka have secured the most number of Asian netball, won the most promising player of the year in the boys category. In some tragic news, American boxer Patrick Day passed away after suffering for 4 days after sustaining a critical brain injury in his super welterweight clash against Charles Conwell last Saturday. Day's promoter Lou DiBella released a statement announcing the death of the 27-year-old, paying tribute to the fighter who won 2 nationals at amateur level before a professional career with 6 knockouts pushed him into the top 10 ratings of both the WBC and IBF. Day is the 4th boxer to die during a boxing fight in the past 3 months, following Russian Maxim Dadashev, Argentine Hugo Santillan and Bulgarian Boris Stanchov.
And that's all the news we have for you tonight. Another reminder that you can be up to date on our website www.newsfirst.lk.
But before we go, we end tonight's primetime English news bulletin with views expressed by parliamentarian Vidura Wickramanayake. For the News First team, I'm Sandru Ferdinando.
And I'm Zeenat Musafa. Thank you for watching. Good night.
We would like to invite our new president and new prime minister after their victory to come to Horona. But on that day, there will be more people than this, right? People come when you are in power. I see the people who are moving around, both of them. After the 8th of January and on the 9th, these people left Mahinda Rajapaksa. Now they've begun to come back to him. I would like to point out to these two